Welcome to this week's edition of The Gun Doctor. Have you ever wondered where the phrase "shot heard around the world" came from? Well, on the night of April 18th, 1775, hundreds of British troops set off from Boston to Concord, Massachusetts, in order to seize weapons and ammunition stockpiled there by American colonists. Early the next morning, the British reached Lexington, where approximately 70 Minutemen had gathered on the village green. Someone suddenly fired a shot. It's uncertain which side, and a melee ensued. When the brief clash ended, 8 Americans lay dead, and at least an equal amount were injured, while 1 redcoat was wounded. The British continued on to nearby Concord, where that same day they encountered armed resistance from a group of patriots at the town's North Bridge. Gunfire was exchanged, leaving 2 colonists and 3 redcoats dead. Afterward, the British retreated back to Boston, skirmishing with colonial militiamen along the way and suffering a number of casualties. The Revolutionary War had begun. The incident at the North Bridge later was memorialized by Ralph Waldo Emerson in his 1837 poem, Concord Hymn. The opening stanza is, "By the rude bridge that arched the flood, their flag to April's breeze unfurled. Here once the embattled farmers stood and fired the shot heard around the world." Well, gun confiscation today hasn't inspired any poems, but we do hear reports from around the world that gun confiscation and buyback programs still continue. And if the continued attack on the Second Amendment isn't enough, a New York lawmaker is proposing legislation that would ban the use or possession of bulletproof vests by most law-abiding citizens. Assemblyman Jonathan Jacobson, a Democrat, introduced legislation earlier this year to amend an existing law that bans the use of body armor by criminals committing a felony with a firearm. His bill would require New York residents to turn over their bulletproof vests to police, who are exempt from the legislation, within 15 days after the law takes effect. The Firearms Policy Coalition is campaigning against the bill. It should be of note that many parents in the wake of school shootings purchase bulletproof backpacks for their children and are concerned about their children not only having to give up their personal protection, but also be labeled as criminals if they don't. Like the body armor itself, one-size legislation doesn't fit everyone. Liberal politicians seem intent to take away all defensive measures for law-abiding citizens. Meanwhile, the U.S. is facing a shortage of bulletproof vests, gas masks, and ballistic helmets. Some retailers of protective equipment have seen a 5-fold increase in sales of military-grade defensive gear, leading to empty shelves and a waiting list. A retailer in Oregon has sold out decontamination wipes designed to remove chemical agents such as pepper spray. Customers cleaned out thousands of pieces of body armor from a store in Texas as soon as they went on sale. While shortages exist in many areas, now would be a good time to upgrade and accessorize your favorite gun. With a gunsmith on staff at Smoke & Gun Works, you can make sure all your firearms are in tip-top shape. Smoke & Gun Works buy, sell, or trade and practice on their 5-star nationally rated range. Smoke & Gun Works, 8785 North Baileyville Road, Forreston, Illinois. For The Gun Doctor, I'm Tim Bivens.